Welcome, my dear students, to the revision for Module 1 for Grade 10 Advanced EOT. Today we are going to be covering the Part 2 of Module 1, whatever questions were left there. And I'm sure that you have revised and watched the video for Part 1. If you have not, I will tag it upside, so you can just click on the link and watch Part 1 before you come to Part 2. Also, a gentle reminder, please like, share and subscribe to the channel if my videos are helping you for good revision. Also, do let me know in the comment section which video you want me to cover next. So let's get started with today's session and complete Module 1. Watch the video till the end because towards the end I will be sharing the answer key for all the questions which are covered in this session. Let's get started. Okay, this is the formula sheet for the lesson 1.1 where you graph quadratic function fx is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. This is the standard equation of a quadratic function. You will be learning the three formulas, one for y-intercept. Y-intercept is always the value of c because you put x as 0, everything else cancel. Number two formula that you are expected to learn is x equal to minus b by 2a. This is important for axis of symmetry. And last is vertex, which x coordinate is this and y you get by subtraction. The graph will be a U-shaped parabola as you can see in this. I would urge you to learn this formula sheet so that you can solve the questions from module 1 lesson 1.1 correctly. Now let's see the questions. Okay, let's solve these questions where we have to find the y-intercept, the equation of axis of symmetry and the x-coordinate of the vertex. So let's start with the equation. In this equation for y-intercept we put x as 0. So when we put as x 0 in this equation we get 0.25 times 0 square plus 3 times 0 plus 4. All these two terms become 0, so we are left with 4. So the the y-intercept is x is 0, y is 4. So the answer is A. Now, equation of axis of symmetry, x equal to minus b over 2a. That's the formula I gave you. Let's find value of a, b, c. A for this question is 0.25, b is 3. So let's put the value minus 3 over 0.25. So we get the answer as use your calculator. Also, don't forget to multiply by 2. There is 2 times a, so it will be 0. Minus 3 divided by 0.50, so that's going to be minus 6. So x is minus 6. This is your answer. Now what is the x coordinate of the vertex? Minus 6. Now see, x coordinate is minus 6. For example, they ask you for y coordinate also. Then this is additional information, 0.25. We will put the value of x in the given question, use substitution. Wherever there is x, just plug in the value minus 6 and solve using calculator. So when you do all of this, this will come out to be 0.25 times 36 minus 18 plus 4. So in your calculator, solve this whole equation. 0.25 multiplied with 36, that's 9 minus 18 plus 4, so minus 5. Therefore, we have got the y coordinate as minus 5. So if anybody asks you find the coordinates of vertex, both x and y, then x we already got minus 6 and y minus 5. So this is how you solve the question. Let's do one more. Okay, so this is the question equation given. You compare it with ax square plus bx plus c, get your ABC. A is 2, B is minus 6 and C is minus 9. Now for y-intercept you put x as 0. When you put x as 0 only minus 9 is left. So y is minus 9, so the point is x comma y 0 comma minus 9b. Now for equation of axis of symmetry, the formula is x equal to minus b over 2a. You put the values minus b. Now there is already a negative and b is also negative. So negative negative become positive. Remember that. So this is going to be plus 6 over 4 or 3 by 2. So x equal to 3 by 2. That's your correct answer. See. So now we find the y coordinate. To find the y coordinate of the vertex, use the original equation. Put y equal to 2 times. Wherever there is x, you are going to put 3 by 2. Do the square, multiply carefully, make sure you don't make sign mistake. Put everything into your calculator and you will get your y coordinate. So if we just simplify a little bit more, this is going to be 9 over 4 minus 3 minus 9. So this is going to be 9 by 2 minus 18. So it will come out to be a fraction. So 9 divided by 2, that's 4.5 minus 18. So minus 13.5. It's a decimal, you can convert it into fraction. Also, if you do it into fraction, then it will come over as 27 divided by 2. Yeah, so it's going to be minus 27 over 2. Now if you want to write your final answer for the vertex, the coordinate both x and y, x you already got as the fraction 3 over 2 and y is negative 27 over 2. This is fraction answer. If you want, you can convert to decimal. When you do decimal, this is going to be 1.5. This is already minus 13.5. So x comma y. If the options have decimal, you can choose decimal. If the option have fraction, you can choose fraction. Both are correct answers. As I already explained to you how to reach to your answer. Now sometimes additionally they can tell you to find the table of values and do the graph. In that case also you will do the same thing. For y-intercept, answer was minus 9. So the point is 0 comma minus 9. You can put the point 0. This is minus 9, so 0 comma minus 9 is 1 point. Now some points you can take positive, some points you can choose negative. Accordingly, put this equation in your calculator and you will get the y value. Okay, we are going to fill the table accordingly. For axis of symmetry, we have already solved in the previous slide. So I will just copy from there the answer for this part and for the x coordinate. Okay, so for the x coordinate, x equal to 3 by 2 and even the x coordinate is 3 by 2. For the y coordinate we have already solved. Similarly, if you put 1, it will come minus 13. So 1 comma minus 13 is another point. Similarly, I want you to find all the points and then you will draw the points. For example, 0 comma minus 9 means it's going to be somewhere here. 1 comma 0 comma minus 9 means x is 0, y is minus 9, so it will be somewhere at the bottom. And x is 1, y is minus 13, again it will be bottom. So you can draw all the points, join them, and you will get your graph. Okay, similarly you will complete the other table. This is how the table of values has to be done and you will complete your graph. So this is how the answer key looks like. I've already explained how you will get the answer. Additionally, if you take your table of values, this is how you can get your answer. We had got the vertex, the axis of symmetry and y-intercept for question 27, 28, 29 and 30. This is the answer key for last question also. Question 32, I have provided here the detailed answer key. You can do the graph accordingly. So let's move to the next question, which is learning objective 6, solve quadratic equations by using the quadratic formula. We are going to be covering questions 24 to 30 and 36 to 38. So already we have covered 24 to 30. Now we are going to 36 to 38. Now these are graph questions. If you see for question 36, 37, 38, you're only given the graph. So you have to use the graph to describe the discriminant and then tell about the type and number of roots. So again, you have to learn this formula. We've already discussed it many times. So let's see the graph first. In question 36, look at the graph, the blue graph. It's a downward U. Is it touching the x-axis? No, right? So this graph does not meet the x-axis. So can I say it will have no real roots and the discriminant will be negative? The reason is because it is not meeting the x-axis. So in this case, there is going to be only imaginary roots. And remember, the discriminant will be negative. How do you know? From the table. If discriminant is less than 0, no real roots, only complex, and the graph does not touch or cross the x-axis. For question 37, if you see the graph is touching x-axis at exactly 2 points, therefore the discriminant is going to be positive. There are going to be two distinct real roots. Okay, so two things are being asked in the question. One value discriminant which is positive. Second, it is asking type. Type is real roots. Two in number and distinct. Distinct means they are separate. One is positive, one is negative, as you can see. For question 38, the graph meets x-axis at only exactly 1 point. Therefore, in this case, we say there is repeated root and discriminant is going to be 0. One real root, which is also called as a double root, because the graph touch x-axis at exactly 1 point. So one real root. That's how you solve it from the graph. Since your exam is multiple choice question, to confuse you, ministry can give question like this. So look at the options carefully. In question 36, after the same graph, see A, B, C, D, 4 options. But please don't get confused. Look at the graph. If it is, you know, not touching, then you will say it is negative. Now here the graph is a little bit wrong. Actually, the graph is not touching. So therefore, you would say that this is the option. Discriminant negative, 2 non-zero, complex root. It was the graph like this. Okay, so I'm just correcting it. For question 37, we've already discussed there are two roots. So therefore, you will choose the option A, discriminant positive, two real and distinct roots. For question 38, the discriminant has to be exactly 0 and one real repeated root. So this is how you choose from the multiple choice the correct option. To again remind you, I'm showing you here a formula sheet for the important questions from this module of quadratic equations. So here the quadratic formula is given by this formula. You can simplify because you know the discriminant value. Discriminant is b square minus 4ac. So this whole thing which is in the square root is nothing but d. So you can simplify minus b plus minus square root of d over 2a. So if you get a ministry exam question where they tell you to find the value of x using quadratic formula, or to find the roots, or to find the 0 or the solution, you will use this. I'm separating. This is the first root with the positive sign. This is the second root with the negative sign. So you can find both of them using this. Please learn it. As you know, in ministry exam, you will not be provided formula sheet. So I repeat and remind you to learn the formulas. Moving on to the last question of module 1. With this, we will end the video on module 1, which is from the last lesson, graphing quadratic inequalities. So we are going to be covering learning objective 7, where you solve quadratic inequalities in one variable. For this, there are 3 steps that you need to learn and remember along with the formula sheet, which I will show you in the next slide. But in general, the method that you will use is, first you will graph the related function, which will be kind of a parabola. It can be upward, it can be downward, it depends on the value of the equality given. Then you will take a test point not on the parabola. Usually you take x as 0, y as 0. And then accordingly you will shade the region. Now, one thing I want to tell you, if you see in the quadratic inequality, strict inequality like greater than or less than, then you will use broken line like this. And if you see greater than, equal to, less than, equal to with the inequality, you will use solid line. That's very important before you do the graph. Let's go to the question now. Yeah, so this is the important formula sheet which is given in your math book. I have told you many times to learn it. I hope you all have done it. So let me explain one last time before we go to the question. So the first kind of inequality that can come in your exam is ax square plus bx plus c less than 0, negative. In that case, you have two options. The first option, your value of a is positive. The second option, your value of a is negative. So let's see what changes in the question. If you see here the first graph, it is an upward U. There are 2 points at which the graph touches uh, the x-axis. It is x1 and x2. But these 2 points are not included. If you see, it's an open dot. These two are not included, but if you get in the ministry exam equal to included, then these points will become equal. They will also be a part of the solution. Now, when your A is positive, the solution is the set of all x which are lying in between these two numbers, not the outside. So that is the first graph. However, if your A is negative, you get parabola like this, and x1 and x2, these 2 points, the strict inequality means all those x1 where x1 is greater than x, and all those x such that x is greater than x2. Those values are included. So we will take the outside values, this one and this one. I have highlighted with red. The second inequality that you can get is where ax square plus bx plus c is positive greater than 0. Again, two cases, one a is positive, 2a is negative. In this case, you do the graph and identify the x values. For greater than equal to 0, the points are included, but in this case, which is strict inequality, x1, x2 are not included. Now, for this case, it is opposite. See, this one is matching this and this one is matching this if you see. Here you are taking all those x1s which are more than x and this one outside. However, for this one you take the in between x values. So this is how you give the solution. Now the formula is done. Let's go to the question. Okay, so we will start solving questions 13 to 18 now. These are on learning objective 7, solve quadratic inequalities in one variable from your book. This is page 155. Okay, so we start with question 13. Now look at this inequality. It is less than equal to, so the endpoints will be included. Now first of all, look at the equation. Convert this to equation and try to factor it. Try to find the solution. Now see, 9 is a perfect square of which number? 3. And what is the sign? Negative. So which identity will help you to factor? A minus b whole square. So a square plus b square minus 2ab. This will help you. So let's do it. 2 times a is x, b is 3. And if you try to find, if you rearrange using this, the first term which is a is x here. The second term, which is b, is 3 here. There is negative sign, so x minus 3. So can I say it will have repeated root, the same value x has 3, repeating 2 times because of the degree, and now the inequality is less than equal to 0. Also look at the value of a. What is the value of a? It is 1, so it is positive. So now let's go to the graph and do the graph part of it. Okay, so we already know from the previous slide after the factorization that x equal to 3 is the solution. So look at the four options A, B, C, D. This graph cannot be correct. This graph cannot be correct. Even this graph cannot be correct. So 1, 2, 3. This graph looks good. Now we have to do step 2 and 3 also. Step 1 is already done. We have found the root x equal to 3. Now we need to do test point because we need to shade. So let's take 0, 0. If I put x as 0, y as 0 in this inequality, let us see if it is true or false. X is 0, so this whole is 0. The left side comes out to be 9. Is 9 less than equal to 0? Is this true or false? Is 0 more than 9? No, it's false. So that means 0, 0 cannot be a part of the solution. So this point cannot be a part of the solution. So which area should I shade? This point is 0, 0. Okay, the test point. So that means 0, 0 is not a part of solution. So we will shade the inside part of the graph. This is going to be your solution. And because it is a strict inequality, equal to is included. Can I say 3 will also be a part of solution? Yes. So it will also be a part of the solution. X equal to 3 is included. That's the only solution of this graph. So let's solve one more question to make it easy for you. Now, in this question, we will be also using formula sheet, the one which I explained you a few slides back. So look at this equation first, minus x square minus 4x plus 32. What is your value of a, b, c? Let's compare with ax square plus bx plus c. So a is minus 1, which is negative. B is minus 4 and C is 32. Now step 1, because your A is negative in this question, so I will be choosing from the formula sheet this part. Now this is greater than equal to 0 means the endpoints are also included. So whatever will be the two solutions, whatever will be the two factors of this inequality, both will be a part of the solution. So the solution set would be x such that x is greater than equal to. I'm putting equal to because this time it is not strict inequality. Equal to is included. I hope this is clear. Now we are ready to do the factor. So to do factor, let's multiply the whole equation with -1 because we don't like this negative sign. So the equation will become x square plus 4x minus 32. So use sum of roots, product of roots. We need two numbers which when added gives 4 and with multiplied gives minus 32. So what can be those two numbers? Check. Let's see if 8 and minus 4 works. Add them. Are you getting 4? Yes. Multiply them. Are you getting this? Right. So therefore the two factors of this equation becomes x plus 8 and x minus 4 less than equal to 0. I put this in inequality less than equal to 0 because I multiply whole with negative sign. So therefore greater than equal to 0 changes to less than equal to 0. Now we are ready to do the final solution, which is this. So let's put the values. So one value coming from this, if I put x plus 8 equal to 0, is negative 8 and plus 4. Yeah, so if I take these two values x1 and x2, the values are x such that x lies between minus 8 and plus 4. Now we also have to take the test point so that we are able to shade the region. So usually we take the test point 0 0. When I put 0 0 for x, this is 0, this is 0. Is 32 greater than equal to 0? Yes, it's true. So that means 0 0 will be a part of the solution. So let's go to the graph and see now. Where is negative 8? It's here. Where is 4? It's here. So this cannot be the solution, this cannot be the solution, this can be solution. And is 0 0 the test point a part of solution? Yes. So which area will we shade which includes 0 0? So this is going to be the correct shading. So answer is B. Okay, and the values with the answer key I have shown here. So as promised, towards the end of this session, this is the answer key for question 14, 15 and 16. You can check your answers now. And with that, we have come to the end of today's session. I hope this video on module 1 was helpful for you. If you have any more queries or doubts, you may put it in the comments. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe to the channel. Until then, this is Ms. Ruchika signing off from today's session. See you in my next video. Bye students.